Welcome. This week, we're going to be exploring how clubs can support the NHS with its test and trace process. So to assist me, I'm joined by Sam Usher, the Regional Development Officer for the North East. Welcome along, Sam. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi Gareth, thank you. As you know, it's a really important topic, this one, and one that I know a lot of clubs are working on and focusing some efforts on right at this point in time, and really important that clubs are supporting the NHS and the government in this test and trace process.
Absolutely, yeah, couldn't agree more. So the NHS are requesting that organisations like clubs collect sufficient data on each person that attends a club, whether they be a member or a visitor, so that they can be contacted in case there's a case of COVID-19 connected with your club. And they're asking us to collect a name, home phone number, mobile number, and also dates and times of entry and exit. And of course, this is all about trying to contain those clusters or outbreaks of COVID, as we've seen in Leicester recently, unfortunately.
Yeah, so what if clubs don't want to get involved with the system, or members don't want to sort of provide their details, Gareth?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. Look, it is voluntary. But we're encouraging clubs to get involved. If clubs are able to set up a system, we'd like them to do so. And it's an additional task at a difficult time. But kind of, why wouldn't you? It's about supporting the NHS and the government. Yeah, so we're right behind it, and we're sure that clubs will be as well. Of course, members or visitors can choose to opt out as well, and if they do so, you shouldn't share their information with the NHS test and trace team, should it be required.
Great. So in terms of the records that clubs need to keep, what's your thoughts on the best ways for them to maintain these?
Yeah, so to support the NHS test and trace system, clubs are requested to hold records for 21 days. Of course, we've got the normal 14-day incubation period for COVID-19 and an additional 7 days to allow time for that testing and tracing. So after the 21-day period, that information should be securely disposed or deleted in the usual kind of GDPR compliant ways. And the good news is, kind of picking up on that point about GDPR, that it is okay to ask for that information from your staff, if you have any, from your members, visitors to the site, and it is okay to share it with the test and trace. So that's absolutely key, because I know some clubs have got concerns about that, understandably. So I think that's all the background information. I mean, Sam, you're closer to the ground than I am. How are clubs collecting these details? And I'm sure there's all sorts of systems out there. So maybe can we start with the simplest options first and work our way up?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're seeing a whole different range of options being used in venues at the moment. I suppose in the simplest form, it's been a paper and pen exercise where visitors, sort of members and visitors' details, names and telephone numbers have been collated on a paper document that's then obviously being sort of stored securely until it's required, or if it's required. And then obviously some people are starting to use a bit of technology moving up from there, really.
Great. And I guess on the pen and paper option, people are bringing their own pens, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, people have got to operate still in be mindful of a COVID secure operation. So whether that is that people are bringing their own pens, or they're having some sanitation wipes available next to the sort of station that people are signing in at, just to clean down the pen in between use, or hand gel, definitely. Yeah.
And what are the tech options that you started to mention before I interrupted you?
Yeah, so I mean, there's all sorts. I mean, I'm aware of some clubs which are using simple things such as WhatsApp, and just sending a WhatsApp to a club committee member that's just collating that. So when they get on site, they're dropping a specific number, a WhatsApp message, just to say that they're on site, and dropping them one when they're leaving as well.
Yeah, because those messages are date and time stamped, aren't they? So it's a
yeah, indeed,
pretty simple system. Good.
Yeah, definitely.
What other systems are out there?
Well, I mean, I'm aware of some clubs which have integrated things into their club website on they've already had maybe booking systems on the website for things like training courses. So they've just made an adaptation to what they've got on their existing website and earmarked some slots, which has allowed them to do a couple of things really. One is limit the number of people that were coming down onto site, but also maintain or capture the details of those people for the test and trace. So utilising some of their existing website sort of activity they've got. And then also moving on to sort of other website type use, I'm aware of some clubs that are using programs such as Sailing Club Manager, which have added some modules to their standard package now to help support clubs through COVID-19. And for clubs which haven't got access to that, they've also made their basic package, which has got some of these slot booking and checking in functionalities in it, free to all clubs to use during the pandemic.
Sounds like a good option, and probably takes a little bit of time to set up, but once a system like that is up and running, probably self-manages itself. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I'm also aware of there's an app out there as well, which people are starting to use, which I think was originally or has originally been set up for more of this sort of bar and hospitality industry, but perfectly usable for sailing clubs, which is called Sprouts, and it's free to download. And you have a QR code at your door, and a member just scans the QR code and it logs them as being there. So again, another sort of hands-off approach, which doesn't kind of means you don't have to worry about the whole sort of cleaning down of pens or any surface transmission that might occur through sort of pen and paper activities.
Fantastic. Look, it sounds like there's a range of options out there, so it feels like clubs can probably find the right solution that works for them. You know, we've got the simple option, pen, paper, wipe it down, or bring your own, all the way up to apps with everything else that's integrated and just pulls all the data into a spreadsheet. Should you need it, should there be a case of COVID connected with your club, and then you can share that information with the NHS and support their test and trace system. Great. Thanks, Sam. Anything before we wrap up?
Nothing from me really, other than saying I think, you know, obviously this is a really sort of important thing for clubs to be doing, and also you know, huge sort of praise going out to those clubs that have been working so hard throughout this period. So yeah, that's it really from me. Thanks, Gareth.
Thanks, Sam. 100% right. Thanks to all the clubs out there. Thanks to all the volunteers, the committee members making a difference. If you have any questions or comments, having listened to this, please email us at sportdevelopment@rya.org.uk with your questions or comments. And don't forget to subscribe, like and follow us. And most importantly, thanks for listening and stay safe.